I have never in my life seen so much explosion of an area as I have seen in Nashville in the last couple months. I've lived here my entire life, and this has been crazy. And with that explosion of people moving and relocating here to Nashville, you do get some increasing prices. You get increasing costs. But I'm going to share with you today what I have found in doing comparisons of so many people coming from Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, all the places they're coming from, and the things they're telling me, doing cost comparisons of Nashville versus where they're coming from, it's still pretty amazing. So in this show, we're going to talk about cost of living, gas, utilities, rental, the cost of housing, public schools versus private schools. We're going to talk about all the things that go into making a great lifestyle in a new area to see how it compares to where you're coming from, especially if you're coming from California. So this video, we're going to talk about Nashville versus California costs. What does it really cost to live here? And be sure to stick around to the end. I'm going to share with you all the websites so you can make a good comparison. Maybe you come from Los Angeles. How does that compare to Nashville and all of those different parameters? Also, I'm going to share with you first thoughts from an expat, someone who's recently moved to Nashville from Los Angeles, and exactly the things that she said she's found that are so amazing about being here in Nashville, and give us a little bit of the good, the bad, and the ugly. See you on the other side. Almost 9 million people have relocated since the beginning of the pandemic. 34 states out of the country have had more people moving in than moving out. And Tennessee is definitely one of those states. With 100 people coming in a day, it is said here in Tennessee, we are one of those states. If you want to know the ones that most people are leaving, New York, DC, and Texas had the most people leaving their communities. Tennessee saw most people moving to us from Kentucky, New York, Virginia, Georgia, and Mississippi. Now, my own experience tells me that I'm seeing the most people coming from California, New York, New Jersey, and Chicago. Don't worry, I realize Chicago is a city. Those others were states. But specifically, we are getting a lot of Chicagoans. And because every single city has things that people are moving from for a reason, one of those big things is cost of living, to get a better lifestyle. You know, we've learned that we can telecommute and do a lot of our business from home. So because of that, people are searching for a better lifestyle, lower cost of living, better situation for their children and their families that frankly does meet their needs for conservatism or liberalism. Either way you want to go, there's a place for that. So today we're going to talk about some specific cost of living, some specific comparisons between Nashville, Tennessee and Los Angeles, California. If you're thinking of moving from there, this is a video you can't miss. If you're considering moving to Nashville, Tennessee from anywhere in the United States, stick around, watch this, because I'm going to share with you several places that you can do your own research to do a comparison of Nashville from your city, USA. Actually, from many, many countries as well. I'm Susan Thetford with Nashville Redefined. If you're new to my show, I want to share with you, we do so many videos about what it's like to eat, sleep, live, play, work in the Middle Tennessee, in Nashville, that if that's something you're of interest, then you need to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Tap that bell so you don't miss a thing, because every single week I do a new video about something of importance to you. And if you have a subject you'd like me to cover, please put that in the comments. We have so many people reaching out to us every single week, wanting to ask all kinds of questions and thinking about relocating here to the Middle Tennessee area. So if that's you, then call, text, send up some smoke signals. I don't care how you get in touch, but just get in touch with me. I can help you. I've got your back when you're moving here. We have so many people calling us every single week, considering a move to Nashville, Brentwood, Franklin, anywhere in the Middle Tennessee area, and I really love it. As a native Nashvilleian, I want to share my community with you. So if that's for you, then go ahead. You should send me an email. Give me a text. send up smoke signals. I don't care how you get in touch, just get in touch. I'm here to help you find out if Nashville is your spot. So today we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. We're going to really talk costs, and not just the cost of housing and rent, but with the cost of lifestyle, the things that you enjoy doing here in Middle Tennessee that you maybe do at home. How much does it cost to go out to eat in comparison? We're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about some of the governmental differences. We're going to talk about some things that you need here that you may not need in your hometown. So those things all go into your cost of living here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Our housing, in some instances, is not less expensive than what you may be leaving, but the difference in the total balance sheet may make it far more worthwhile than you realize. The 8.9 people who have relocated from their hometowns since the pandemic started, about March of 2000, are leaving less for the normal reasons that people leave, for job-related moves. This is now more lifestyle. We're going to talk about the lifestyle, and in that, of course, has got to be costs. So that's what this is so important today, I think, to talk about, is what to expect when you move into the Nashville, Tennessee area, and how do you make a real comparison. Now, it's the obvious. We have 4 seasons. We have amazing foodie kind of community. We're really well known for every kind of food you might choose. We have phenomenal music. We have great outdoor lifestyle. We've got all those things. Let's talk about where the money fits into those good things and some of the things that you might not have thought about when you're moving here. I want you to know I'm not just pulling these numbers out of my hat. I've lived here a long time, but I can't tell you that I understand the costs of things in Los Angeles. But what I am using is this website, and it gives you a good cost comparison of all these parameters that I'm going to talk about today with you. So no matter where you live, you can do this comparison. Nashville to Chicago, Las Vegas to Nashville, Chicago to Tampa, St. Pete, wherever you want to go. So this is a great website you want to take a look at. Okay, so one of the first things you have to talk about is housing. Where are you going to live? Let's do renting first. Let's consider you're going to rent a premium home, premium apartment, maybe it's a condo, but a premium 1-bedroom furnished place in Los Angeles. The cost is $2,960. And in the Nashville area for the same considered premium property would be $1,730. If you're looking for just kind of a mid-range, again, furnished versus unfurnished, 900 square feet, Los Angeles, $2,399. $2,400, and in Nashville, $1,126. About half. The costs are running about half the costs. Now, I will say this, Nashville, you're rarely ever going to find a rental that's a furnished rental, or find yourself a long-term Airbnb, or maybe one of those long-term motels, because we rarely do it furnished. LA may be different. When you consider the utilities, your monthly maintenance that you're going to have to take care of, in LA it's running at about $193, and in Nashville $171. This is according to bestplaces.net. Again, another really good website to go to. Internet costs about the same. LA $44, Nashville actually is $51. Don't know why, and I don't know. Sometimes it's impossible to compare apples and apples, but I'm just trying to give you a monthly budget. Let's talk about commuting. Now, in Nashville, you must have a car. Many places I understand in LA, people don't have cars, or if you're coming from another area, they may well have rapid transit. Here in Nashville, we really don't. You have a car, but let's assume that you're paying for premium gas out in LA. My understanding from people who've just moved there is you can pay anywhere from $4.50 to $5 for premium gas in LA, and that depends on, which area of town you might happen to be in. Nashville kind of runs the same way. Depends on the area of town you're in. If you're in Green Hills or Belmead, the cost is higher than if you're in Thompson Station. But premium gas today, I actually just got some, was $2.90 in the Belmead area. That's a big cost savings per gallon. This Best Places website that I mentioned really gets down to the nitty-gritty. I mean, it compares the cost of toothpaste in LA versus the cost of that same tube of toothpaste in Nashville, Tennessee. But overall, Food in LA is 23% higher than in Nashville. Your cost for housing in LA is going to run about 33% higher than in LA than in Nashville. Your cost of clothes in LA versus Nashville, LA is 10% cheaper than Nashville. Why that is, I have no idea, but can't answer that. But anyway, to put your clothes on, it's going to cost about 10% more here in Nashville. Transportation in LA is 26% higher than in Nashville. Now that's also the cost of cars, the cost of gas, toll roads, maybe the cost of the maintenance of your car with all the consistent driving and stop, go, stop, go traffic that I understand your freeways are. By the way, side note, we don't call interstates freeways, they're called interstates. The other thing about that is, I found this different. When you get on our interstates, we merge onto the interstate and we don't stop. I understand traffic is so heavy in LA that you get to it and then you stop and then you have to gun to get going, and then you don't do that here, okay? And if you do, you're gonna cause several wrecks. So just kind of take it easy and merge on in, and don't honk. Don't honk. Nashvillians don't honk. Okay, so let's talk about actually buying your home. The cost of housing here in Nashville versus in LA. This is something that's really a little bit difficult to talk about because, of course, LA has phenomenally expensive areas and less expensive areas. And, you know, when you're talking medians, you talk a median number. Well, the median numbers for Nashville versus LA means LA is 33% higher. But what I'm finding people is expecting is maybe they come from Beverly Hills, I don't know, and they sell their house for $3 million. They're expecting to come here and find the same premium location at about a quarter of the cost, and that's just not gonna be so. We have many great locations. There's not one place that's a be-all and end-all, for one thing. And the ones that are premium, there's just no more dirt being invented. So homes are more and more expensive as they're being renovated or updated. They're closer into town. So there's so many things that go into the pricing and the values. But in general, as I say, and this isn't just me talking, this is working off of some of these websites. Los Angeles is 33% higher than Nashville. One thing I'm finding that's very similar between the two areas now especially is that there is very little inventory. There's high competition for the homes that are available for sale. So I'm finding people put their homes on the market. Several of my recent expats have put their homes on the market in California, have had multiple offers. They had people lined up to see it before because they have it as a coming soon in their MLS. And they're actually getting more for their home because of a bidding war. When you come here, that's a similar thing that's happening in many, many price points. But I want you to remember, if it happened to you there, you will be on the other side of it when you come here. So, you know, you reap the benefits, enjoy it, have a good time, but don't get super frustrated when you get here and realize now the shoe's on the other foot. Because when we have 100 people a day moving in, all kinds of people wanting to buy a home, they've sold where they are, and they want to come here and they want to own a home, we are very, very short on inventory as well. And there's high competition for the very same number of houses. Now, let me give you an example. I was showing property. I have a couple who is here. They're sitting in an Airbnb. Their home in California sold for well over $150,000, frankly, of their asking price. They're here, they're ready to buy, there's cash in hand. And a home came on the market at 6 a.m. one day last week. By 9:30, I had them in that house. We were looking at the house. We had decided we wanted to make an offer on that house. And at that 10 o'clock time, when I called the realtor to find out some more specifics, they had 21 showings on that particular house that day. By that afternoon, they had multiple offers. So again, the beauty is they walked in here with $150,000 over asking price and sold their home quickly, but we're having to work a lot harder here on this end of things. So it's just be ready for it. And since we're talking about the differences in living in LA versus Nashville, Tennessee, something I've got to mention is air quality. And this is what I'm told repeatedly. I've not been there, but I'm told repeatedly by expats or people coming here to look, is that the air quality here is incredible. I don't know of any days what we've had, except for pollen counts if you're heavily allergic, but we have good air. I mean, it's just, we have good air. I mean, they were telling me about the forest fires that's consistently raging. It seems to be every year for the last several years, and having that white ash on their cars and not being able to see because of the haze and the breathing quality. You do not have that here. Now, if you're talking about lifestyle, when you like to be outdoors, you want to be out hiking, you want to be out kayaking, you want to just be able to walk outside and breathe well, gee, that's a big difference. Quality of life and the ability to breathe, I don't know much better than that. Something else about the differences in LA versus Nashville, Tennessee, and this isn't just about cost, this is again more about lifestyle. If you're looking for a place that is friendly, that I think is very welcoming, I've not heard it be any different. I don't think there's a better place than the Middle Tennessee area. We are in the Bible Belt. We are based on a community of people, whether they actually have a church group that they belong to, or whether they just want to be a part of a community that is more open to church groups and community and family and recreation and being a part of just an entirely enveloping community. Rather than isolated, then this is your spot. I've had many people question, will my child be able to fit in at school? Will she be able to make friends? Because it's difficult to make friends in LA. It's difficult to make friends in some of the areas of California. That whole concept was shocking to me, that would ever be the case. How you find friends is you join meetup groups. What is it that you enjoy doing? Do you like hiking? Do you have children? If your children will be involved, you get involved with the school and the sports and the athletics, or maybe the music or the bands, the things of interest. Just like in anywhere else, you will find people through meetup groups, through the school, through church groups, through so many community activities. There's no end to the ways to find ways to join people of like-mindedness within the things that you enjoy doing. So there is no issue of that being a difficulty here if that's what you're searching for. And I'm finding people are surprised how friendly and how open it is, how easy it is to meet people here. With that in mind, don't be shocked when someone turns around in line and says hello or holds the door open for you. Don't be offended. Doesn't mean they don't think you can do it. It means they're being polite and welcoming. These little nuances are shocking to me that people are finding so surprising, but they are. So that's Nashville. Welcome to the South. Welcome to hospitality and friendliness. And if you sometimes hear the, oh, bless your heart, that's really more something that we kind of play around with it. People used to say in their 70s and 80s, and we heard our grandparents saying it and our moms. And it doesn't necessarily mean bless your heart, but at the same point, that's just kind of a euphemism. It's just play. So we will be polite to you. We won't flick you off for the most part. And if someone honks at you 1/4 of a second after the light turns, they're probably not been here in Nashville for a long time. So we'll give them grace, but slow down, calm down. You're in Nashville now. So here's what you've been waiting for, and here's what I promised. If you're thinking of moving to Nashville, Tennessee from Los Angeles, you want to know, is it freaking worth it? That's a long way across the country. What's my lifestyle going to be? Is my life going to be better? So I thought it would be very beneficial for you to hear a testimonial from someone who moved here to Nashville less than 3 weeks ago, to see her or hear her immediate response when I said, okay, now tell me, what are some of the differences that you're now finding being here in Nashville versus being in LA in just a short couple weeks? And let me tell you, during this couple weeks, she's refinishing floors, she's painting the house, she's doing a lot of updates, so she's working hard. And here is already what she said. and I quote, "Well, we pay almost $8,000 per year on our 1,400 square foot house in Los Angeles. In Brentwood, we'll be paying only $2,400 for a house that's 2,300 square feet and an acre." That alone, to me, is really pretty big. Then she says, "I'm terrible with math and with numbers, but I know this. Our California state income tax is 13%, the highest in the nation. Nashville, we don't pay income tax." She got that right. "Air quality, huge." Again, I'm quoting. I think she'll get back to air quality in a minute. "In the schools, we will save $25,000 to $30,000 per year per child because the public school system here in Williamson County is so good," meaning they're going to have their daughter in the public school system. Also, on a lifestyle note, LA is famous for pollution, but the last 4 years have seen out-of-control wildfires that made the air unbearable. I'm hearing about the ash that's falling. I just can't even imagine that. And being fearful of fire coming across, no way. Anyway, then there is the ridiculous, no, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but this again is a quote. "Then there is the ridiculous socialism of Gavin Newsom and the in-your-face liberalism that makes life so unpleasant there." That's enough to make me move. Sorry, you can tell I haven't had enough coffee yet, but now I can breathe. That, friends, is an incredible testimonial. So if any of those things resonate with you, and Nashville seems to be possibly the right spot, we need to talk. Life is not worth being miserable, and it sounds as though California or LA, for at least this family, was pretty miserable. And now she feels like she can breathe. What a concept. So we've been talking about the cost of living, the cost comparison of living in Nashville, Tennessee versus Los Angeles. I'm going to put in the description below the websites that I used to get the numbers that I've been citing for you, because they're important. I didn't make them up. And you can do the same from wherever you're coming from in comparison one city of another and the cost of living, not only housing, but cost of blue jeans, cost of toothpaste, cost of getting your hair done. Those are things that are important to know, right? And if you are considering moving to the Nashville, Tennessee area and you want to know about some of the great areas that we have, where are the best schools? Where is the price point of homes that you're looking for? Where can I find my faith community that I'm searching for? Where can I find those who love to who have a boat and want to be up by the lake? Where are the communities, where are the nuances of the right places? Then that's what I'm here for. So if you've got those questions, please put in the comments. Tell me, what kind of questions do you have about Nashville? Where would you like me to visit and show you more of? And truly, the best way for me to help you is for you to call, text, email, however you want to get in touch with me. We're about the time for the spring when everybody's going to flock to Nashville and you want some help. I'm here to help you when you move to Nashville, Tennessee. And go ahead, subscribe, tap that bell so you don't miss next week's video. At this moment, you never know what you're going to get. Neither do I. But I'll see you then.